What if I told you the real reason your erections have become weak or unreliable after 60 has nothing to do with your age, not your testosterone levels either, and it's not something you just have to accept? In fact, the answer might already be sitting in your kitchen, ignored, untouched, completely underestimated. I'm not talking about pills or hormone therapy. I'm talking about 5 natural fruits. Yes, fruits. Whole God-given delicious fruits that quietly restore blood flow, rebalance your hormones, and awaken the kind of vitality you thought was long gone. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I've spent over 30 years helping older men feel like themselves again, without prescriptions, without shame, and without giving up. Because the truth is, most men don't need a miracle. They just need a better rhythm, a daily way to nourish what time has slowly taken. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 powerful fruits that target circulation, hormone health, and energy, starting with one you probably already have in your fridge right now. It's small, it's sweet, and inside it is a natural compound that helps restore the very blood flow your erections depend on. Stay with me. This may be the most important health advice you hear all year. Let's begin with the first fruit. It's simple, it's sweet, and chances are it's already in your refrigerator. I'm talking about red grapes. Now, most men over 60 think of grapes as just a healthy snack. But what they don't realize is that these tiny fruits hold one of the most powerful natural compounds for restoring blood flow, resveratrol. Resveratrol is a natural antioxidant found in the skin of red grapes. It works deep inside your blood vessels, helping, and when you're below, to your brain. And yes, to your penis. Because let's be honest, strong erections don't start with stimulation. They start with circulation. And improving blood flow isn't about force. It's about nourishment, gentle, steady, consistent nourishment. Let me tell you a quick story. One of my earliest patients, let's call him Bill, was a retired firefighter in his late 60s. A tough guy, kind-hearted and proud. But behind that pride, he was frustrated. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I still love my wife, but nothing's working down there. I feel like my body doesn't belong to me anymore." There was a pause in his voice. It wasn't just about sex. It was about connection, about identity, about feeling like a man again. And that's when I told him about red grapes. Not a drug, not a supplement, just a handful of grapes. With the skin on. 3 weeks later, Bill walked into my office with a grin I hadn't seen before. He said, "You were right, Doc. I didn't expect much, but something's waking up again." That something was his circulation, his confidence, and his sense of control over his own body. You see, red grapes don't hit your system like a blue pill. They don't shock your body. They feed it, quietly, faithfully, day by day. And what makes them especially helpful for older men is that they work exactly where aging hits hardest your lower body. If your feet feel cold, if your hands have lost sensitivity, if arousal feels distant or weak, there's a good chance your blood isn't flowing like it used to. That's where red grapes go to work. They increase your body's natural production of nitric oxide, a molecule that triggers and maintains erections. Think of nitric oxide like the green light at every intersection of your blood vessels. Without it, everything slows down or gets stuck. With it, blood flows freely again. And the best part, you don't need buckets of grapes, just a handful a day, eaten with the skin on because that's where the resveratrol lives. But remember, this isn't a magic bullet. It's not one and done. It's about consistency. Over time, the results can be life-changing. More energy, more responsiveness, and that quiet moment of surprise when you wake up in the morning and realize your body still remembers what it's capable of. Red grapes are the beginning. They're how we start restoring circulation, the foundation of every strong, natural erection. But we're not stopping there. Because next, we'll talk about a fruit that helps your body rest, recover, and rebuild the very hormones that drive desire. It doesn't just improve sleep, it helps you rise. Now let's talk about the second fruit, one that doesn't just support your performance, but helps your body rest, recover, and remember how to feel again. I'm talking about cherries, not the sugary ones you find in pies or syrups, but real ripe, deeply colored cherries, straight from nature, rich in healing power. See, most men don't realize that true vitality doesn't begin with action. It begins with recovery. It begins with rest. And that's where cherries step in. I once worked with a couple married over 40 years. You could see the love was still there, but something had shifted. The husband said quietly, "It's like there's a distance now. Not because we want it, but because I just don't feel connected to my body anymore." His wife nodded. "We still hold hands," she said, "but it's not the same." That moment stayed with me, because what they were missing wasn't just touch, it was chemistry, that deep magnetic spark that begins from within. And surprisingly, part of the solution came from a bowl of cherries. Cherries are loaded with compounds called anthocyanins. These reduce inflammation in your blood vessels, allowing better flow throughout the body, including the places that matter most. But here's where cherries really shine. They're one of the few natural sources of melatonin, and that matters more than you might think. Melatonin is the hormone your body uses to sleep deeply, the kind of restorative sleep that resets your system and restores hormone balance. Without it, your testosterone production drops. And without healthy testosterone, it's nearly impossible to feel desire, let alone act on it. So when an older man tells me he feels exhausted, foggy, disconnected, one of my first questions is, "How are you sleeping?" And more often than not, the answer is, "Not well." That's why cherries are so powerful. They don't sedate you like a pill. They nourish your nervous system. They help you relax naturally so your body can do what it was always meant to do, rebuild. That same couple, they added a bowl of cherries to their routine each night. Nothing fancy, just a quiet ritual before bed. A month later, they came back to my office, still holding hands. But this time, there was a warmth in their eyes, a closeness, a spark. He said, "I don't know if it's the fruit or the feeling, but I want to hold her again. Not because I should, but because I can." That's the magic of cherries. They soften stress. They calm your mind. They open the door for your body to reconnect. And when that happens, everything changes. Your mood, your energy, your sense of being fully present with the person you love. So if you've been struggling to sleep, if you've been short-tempered or avoiding intimacy because your mind and body feel out of sync, start with this simple act of care. A bowl of cherries before bed. Let them be your invitation back to balance. Because once your body begins to rest again, once your nights are deep and your hormones start to stabilize, you create space for something powerful to return desire. But we're not done yet. Because once you've laid the foundation of blood flow and recovery, the next step is to reignite the fire within. To feed the system that fuels energy, strength, and passion from the inside out. Now that your body is beginning to rest, now that blood is flowing, and your hormones are starting to rebalance, it's time to stoke the fire from within. Let's talk about papaya, a fruit that doesn't just support your energy, it reawakens it. I remember a man named Frank. He was 72, a retired school principal. He walked into my office one morning and sat down with a long sigh. "Doc," he said, "I'm eating clean, I'm walking every day, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. But I still feel empty. like the engine is running but there's no fuel. What Frank was feeling wasn't just physical fatigue. It was something deeper, a quiet, hormonal flatline. His body was going through the motions, but the passion, the drive, the spark, it just wasn't there anymore. And I knew papaya could help. Papaya is one of nature's best-kept secrets when it comes to restoring testosterone, especially for men over 60. It's bright tropical and packed with nutrients. Vitamins A, C, and E all play a major role in hormone production. But that's only the beginning. What truly sets papaya apart is how it reduces internal inflammation, improves blood flow, and supports your adrenal glands. And why do adrenal glands matter? Because they regulate how your body handles stress. And stress is one of the biggest enemies of testosterone. So if you've been waking up, tired, feeling emotionally flat, struggling to stay focused, or losing connection with your partner, it's not just age. It might be low testosterone quietly creeping in. Papaya helps your body remember how to create energy again. Real energy. Not the wired, jittery kind, but grounded strength, steady focus, and that powerful sense of self that lets you walk taller. With Frank, I didn't start him on medications or supplements. I asked him to try something simple. Each morning he blended half a cup of ripe papaya with a spoonful of Greek yogurt and a dash of cinnamon. That was it. No prescriptions, just nourishment. A few weeks later he came back. Something had shifted. He looked lighter. He moved with more ease. But more than anything, he smiled differently. "Doc," he said, "my wife noticed it first. She told me I was humming in the kitchen again. I hadn't done that in years. That little hum, that's testosterone coming back to life. That's vitality returning. Quietly, steadily, naturally. And it doesn't stop there. Papaya also supports your digestion, and many men don't realize how closely gut health is tied to sexual function. If your gut is inflamed, your hormones suffer. If your digestion is sluggish, your energy drops. If your stress is high, your desire disappears. It's all connected. That's why I recommend papaya, not just as a fruit, but as a daily ritual, a gentle signal to your body that says it's time to wake up again. Because when your gut feels balanced, your hormones start flowing, and your inner systems begin to align, your entire body becomes fertile ground for desire. Not the forced kind, the real kind. The kind that surprises you, that rises from within. Not because you took a pill, but because your body remembered how to live. Papaya isn't a miracle, it's a reminder that the man you used to be, the fire, the presence, the spark, he's still in there, waiting. All he needs is fuel. And just when you've begun to feel that fire again, just when your sleep, blood flow, and testosterone are finally aligning, there's one more hidden threat we need to address. Because none of this matters. Not the energy, not the desire, not the strength, if something deeper is silently working against you. Something in your core. Something that affects millions of older men and quietly erodes confidence from the inside out. Now that we've reignited your energy and begun restoring your testosterone, let's talk about something many men quietly struggle with. Something that impacts not only your confidence, but your comfort, your connection, and your sense of control. It's pelvic health. And this is where cranberries come in. Most people think of cranberries as a holiday side dish, tart, seasonal, maybe good for a urinary tract infection now and then. But they're so much more than that. For older men, cranberries are one of the most powerful fruits you can add to your daily life. Because what's happening in your pelvic region, your bladder, your prostate, your urethra, can have a massive impact on your intimacy, your sleep, and your peace of mind. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 67, a retired mail carrier. He loved his wife, still felt attraction, still wanted to connect. But every time he tried, there was discomfort, urgency, fear of having to run to the bathroom in the middle of a moment that was supposed to be tender. He told me, "Doc, I feel like my body's betraying me. I want to be close, but I can't relax. I'm always on edge." That kind of vulnerability takes real courage to admit. And the truth is, Harold wasn't alone. Countless men are dealing with the same thing, not because they're broken, but because no one ever told them how common pelvic inflammation is as we age. And no one told them how to fix it. That's where cranberries come in. They're rich in compounds called proanthocyanidins, powerful plant nutrients that help reduce inflammation, fight off harmful bacteria, and support the delicate blood vessels in your pelvic region. That means fewer urinary infections, less swelling in the prostate, and better blood flow to the areas that matter most. But this isn't just about preventing problems. It's about restoring freedom. Because when your pelvic floor is inflamed, you're tense, distracted, guarded. Your body doesn't feel safe, so intimacy becomes difficult, even impossible. But when the inflammation goes down, your nervous system relaxes. Your blood flows better. You stop bracing for discomfort and start feeling present again. For Harold, I suggested something simple. Each day, he added a handful of unsweetened dried cranberries to his lunch. And in the morning, just a few ounces of real, pure cranberry juice. No sugar, no additives, just the real stuff. 3 weeks later, he called me. He said I didn't realize how much pressure I was holding until it was gone. He was sleeping through the night. No more urgency, no more discomfort. And for the first time in over a year, he and his wife made love, without fear or interruption. That kind of healing isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's relational. It rebuilds trust, closeness, and comfort. And it doesn't just help men. For women, cranberries also support vaginal health, reduce dryness, and improve comfort, especially after menopause. So when you add cranberries to your daily rhythm, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're building something shared. A step toward connection. A path back to feeling safe, wanted, and whole. There's something powerful that happens when the body no longer has to defend itself. When the mind can stop worrying. That's when desire returns, not out of obligation, but because it finally feels right. Cranberries may be small, but their impact is deep. They protect your foundation. They restore your confidence. And they clear the path for something greater to return. Because once your core is healthy, once your body stops fighting and starts healing, you're ready for the final fruit. A fruit that not only supports blood flow, but actually cleans your arteries. A fruit that unlocks lasting power, full body vitality, and the strength to live and love with freedom again. Shall we keep going? Now that your foundation is stronger, your energy is rising, and your core feels more stable. It's time to bring it all together. Because there's one final fruit, and for many men, it's the game changer. The missing piece that cleans out the system, restores blood vessel health, and unleashes strength across your entire body. Let's talk about pomegranate. It's bright, bold, and bursting with nutrients. And when it comes to cardiovascular health, there's nothing quite like it. I once worked with a man named Dennis. He was 70, a retired engineer. Smart, measured the kind of guy who did his research. He had tried everything: testosterone patches, blood pressure meds, even a few pills that promised fast results, but left him with headaches and zero desire. "Doc," he said, "I don't want a quick fix. I want to feel alive again. I want to be with my wife without worrying if I'll disappoint her, or myself." Dennis didn't need more pressure. He needed his body to cooperate. And the key was circulation. See, most men don't realize that the penis is a vascular organ. That means if your arteries are stiff, clogged, or inflamed, your erections will suffer. It's not about your mood. It's not even about attraction. It's plumbing. And that's where pomegranate goes to work. It's packed with polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that improve blood vessel elasticity, reduce plaque buildup in the arteries, and increase nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the chemical your body uses to signal blood vessels to open wide. It's the green light for blood to flow freely, not just to your heart, but to every part of you that needs it. And when you're over 60, when time and inflammation have narrowed those pathways, that blood flow becomes the difference between frustration and fulfillment. For Dennis, we started small. Half a cup of pure pomegranate juice each morning. Not from concentrate, no added sugar, just real juice. A few weeks later, he came in with a whole new energy. My walks are easier, he told me. I'm not winded at the stairs. I don't feel like I'm dragging my body anymore. And at night, let's just say, my wife and I are reconnecting. That's the power of circulation. When blood flows freely, your body doesn't just respond sexually, it responds everywhere. Your stamina improves, your mental clarity sharpens, your mood lifts. You stop surviving and start living again. But here's something else most men don't know about pomegranate. It helps regulate testosterone too. It does this by blocking an enzyme called aromatase. Aromatase is what converts testosterone into estrogen. And yes, men have estrogen. But as we age, that balance can tip too far, leading to lower testosterone, increased fat storage, and weaker sexual function. Pomegranate helps bring that balance back. More testosterone, less unwanted conversion, better results. And it does this gently. No spikes, no crashes, just steady day-by-day improvement. You might notice your hands feel warmer, your thoughts feel clearer, your motivation returns, and your desire doesn't need convincing, it just shows up. Dennis wasn't an exception. He was one of many men who saw real changes from one simple daily habit. Not because it was magic, but because it was consistent. Because healing doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be real. Pomegranate clears the path, it restores the flow, and it gives your body a chance to rise not just in one area, but in every part of who you are. So now we've covered 5 incredible fruits, each one targeting a different system that keeps your vitality alive. Red grapes to improve blood flow. Cherries to support restful sleep and hormone balance. Papaya to restore testosterone and energy. Cranberries to heal the core and protect your pelvic health. And pomegranate to strengthen your circulation and cleanse your arteries from the inside out. But here's the real question. How do you bring them together? Do you need to eat them all every day? Is there a right time? A best way to combine them? Let's answer that next. Now that you know the 5 fruits that can transform your health from the inside out, you might be wondering, how do I actually use them in my daily life? Do I need to eat all 5 every day? Is there a best time? A specific routine? The good news is, this doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a strict diet. You don't need fancy recipes or expensive supplements. What you need is a simple daily rhythm, one that fits into your life, supports your body's natural cycles, and delivers real results without overwhelming you. I've shared this daily plan with hundreds of my patients' men who felt tired, disconnected, or unsure of how to take back control. And time again, this simple structure helped them feel stronger, more present, and more alive. Let's break it down. In the morning, start with papaya. Half a cup of ripe papaya, either on its own or blended with a spoonful of Greek yogurt. This combination does three important things. It feeds your testosterone, supports healthy digestion, and kickstarts your energy for the day ahead. The yogurt adds protein and gut-friendly probiotics, while the papaya delivers the vitamins and antioxidants your body craves. If you like, add a sprinkle of cinnamon for extra anti-inflammatory support. Mid-morning or around lunch, have a small handful of red grapes. Eat them with the skin on. That's where the resveratrol lives. This helps boost circulation, sharpen your mental clarity, and prime your body for better blood flow throughout the day. And it's so easy. Just rinse and eat. No preparation, no planning, just a handful of power in the palm of your hand. In the afternoon, it's time for cranberries. Toss a small handful of unsweetened dried cranberries into a bowl of mixed nuts, sprinkle them over a salad, or eat them by themselves. This supports your pelvic health, eases pressure on the prostate, and reduces internal inflammation, right when your body might be starting to feel a little tense or sluggish. Cranberries help you stay grounded, comfortable, and confident as the day winds down. In the early evening before dinner, drink half a glass of pomegranate juice. Just 4 to 6 ounces of 100% pure, unsweetened juice. This is when your body begins to slow down and your circulation can use an extra boost. Pomegranate helps relax your blood vessels, clean your arteries, and prepare your system for deep overnight repair. It's heart health in a glass. Then, about an hour before bed, enjoy a bowl of cherries. Frozen cherries work just as well as fresh ones, just make sure there's no added sugar. These support melatonin production, calm your nervous system, and allow your testosterone to reset naturally during sleep. Better sleep means better hormones, which means better mornings and better connection to yourself and your partner. Now here's what I love most about this rhythm. You're not counting calories. You're not tracking macros. You're not depriving yourself or forcing anything. You're simply feeding your body what it understands, what it remembers, what it was built to respond to. And when you do that consistently, day after day, something powerful begins to happen. Your energy becomes steady. Your mind clears. Your mood softens. And your connection to your body, your partner, your purpose, starts to feel real again. I've had men call me 2 or 3 weeks into this plan just to say, "Doc, something's shifting. I feel clearer. I feel lighter. My wife said I look brighter." It's not always dramatic at first, but it's real, and it builds. One small act of nourishment becomes a habit. One moment of connection becomes many. And before long, the man who felt distant, flat, or invisible begins to return to himself. That's what these fruits offer. Not just nutrients, but a way back. Back to presence, back to strength, back to intimacy. And if you're ready to take it one step further to combine these fruits in a way that supercharges their effects, makes your routine even simpler, and turns your daily habits into daily rituals. We'll cover that next. Now that you've built a daily rhythm around these 5 powerful fruits, let's take it one step further. Because when you combine the right ingredients at the right time, something extraordinary happens. Not only does it become easier to stick with the routine, but the benefits multiply. You're not just eating for health anymore. You're fueling desire, confidence, vitality. Let me tell you about Charles. He was 74, a widower who had recently remarried. He loved his new wife deeply, but privately, he was struggling to keep up physically and emotionally. He came to me committed and ready to take action. But like many men his age, he didn't want to rely on pills or spend hours preparing complicated meals. What he needed was something simple, something he could look forward to, not dread. So we worked together to create what I call power combinations. Smart pairings that work with your body's natural rhythm to energize, balance, and restore. Here's how it looked for Charles. In the morning, he started his day with a smoothie, half a cup of ripe papaya, a splash of pure pomegranate juice, a spoonful of Greek yogurt, and a pinch of cinnamon. That one glass did more than just taste good. It supported testosterone production, boosted circulation, calmed internal inflammation, and fed his gut. It became his favorite part of the day. "Doc," he told me, "I haven't felt this steady in years. Not wired, not tired, just ready." That's what a smart start can do. Midday, he kept it simple. A small salad with red grapes and dried cranberries, sometimes with a handful of almonds. That's it. No complicated cooking, just a few mindful ingredients. But what it delivered: circulation, pelvic support, and a steady lift in nitric oxide. He called it his lunch upgrade, and it made a big difference. At night before bed came the best part. A small bowl of frozen cherries with a sprinkle of dark chocolate chips. Yes, chocolate, because real dark chocolate supports nitric oxide too, and it brings pleasure. When paired with cherries, you're getting a powerful boost to melatonin hormonal reset and emotional warmth just when your body is ready to relax and recharge. Charles looked forward to it every evening, not because it was part of a health plan, but because it made him feel cared for, strong, alive. And that's what these power combinations are really about. They're not random, they're intentional. Each fruit supports the next. Each time of day works with your natural biology. And each bite becomes part of a larger ritual, a rhythm that rebuilds you. Not just physically, but emotionally. Here's the beautiful part: you don't have to be perfect. You don't need to hit every fruit every single day. What matters is consistency. What matters is care. Because when you begin to treat your body with even a little more attention, it responds. I've had men tell me they feel more in control, more awake, more connected to themselves and to their partners. And they didn't do it with complicated systems or harsh routines. They did it with grapes, cherries, papaya, cranberries, and pomegranate, one bite at a time. And now with this in your hands, you might be asking, where do I go from here? Because you've learned what to eat, why it works, and how to fit it into your life. But there's one final piece, and it might just be the most important part of all. You've made it this far, and that means something powerful. It means you're not giving up. You're not settling. You're not buying the lie that getting older means losing your spark. Because the truth is, your body still wants to work for you. It's not too late. You are not too old. And the life you crave: connection, energy, confidence, it's still within reach. All it takes is one choice, one daily rhythm, one piece of fruit, one moment of belief that you are still worth the effort. So if this message spoke to you even just a little, take a second to support this mission. Click the like button. It tells YouTube this content matters. Leave a comment below, type 1 if this helped you, or 0 if you think we can do better. I read every single one. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe and tap the bell. Because we're building something here, a space where men over 60 can reclaim their health, their strength, and their sense of self. You're not alone in this. We're walking this road together, and your next chapter can be the strongest one yet.